Hello, it's me, Barbalicious. How you guys doing? Hi. I'm going to show you how to cut up a chicken because I'm thinking of doing fried chicken tonight for supper. So I'm gonna cut my chicken and then I'm gonna soak it in. Where's my knife? Soak it in buttermilk. So to not debone, but to take your whole chicken into pieces so you can do it. I have my cutting board. I have it on a parchment paper too, so I'm going to try and do most of it on the parchment paper until I actually have to cut. So it's very, very easy. And I got kitchen shears too to cut down the middle of the breastbone and stuff too if you want to. So your chicken has to be thawed out, and I just go along and I let it do its thing. I just pull it apart, and you see how the bone comes apart right there? You just cut. You don't have to force nothing. And I'll just use the shears here to cut the skin. So there's your quarter chicken. If you want to, you can always take this part off too. And then you have like a thigh and a leg. So I'll do this side too. I just put an insert there to cut that. Bend it so it makes the bone available. And then I just cut where it wants me to cut. And then I'll cut this. And there you go. So then, when I get to the cutting board, get forceful with it a little bit. You can hear it snap and crack and do all its thing. And then when you open it, it's got like the bone there. So you just cut around the bone. See? And there you got your thigh. And you got a leg. In the bowl it goes. So you just force it, you hear it go. And then right down the middle. There, you got your thigh and your leg. In the bowl it goes. Same thing with your wings too. You do the same thing. You can hear them. This here, I'm going to go down the backbone. My chicken's still a little bit frozen, but that's okay. You can hear it. Sounds so awesome. And so you can fry this part here too. I'm just going to get rid of this clump of skin. Get rid of that little piece too. But this has got brown meat and stuff on it too, so you can use that. And then I'll just cut out this part of the ribs here, the rib cage here. And this you can save if you're going to do like a chicken stock, which not me. So here, do the same thing, just kind of cut along the bone there to force it. You can hear it crack, crack, crack. Like I said, mine's still a little frozen, so it's going to be a little difficult here to get this wing off because my chicken's frozen. So I'm just going to cut around the skin part. Okay. Kitchen shears worked a little bit better. So here's your wing. There. Put it in the bowl. Do the same thing on this side. It's a little bit more challenging, but when your chicken is thawed out, it's way easier because it's more flexible. So there's my other chicken wing. Brock, brock. Now I'm dealt with the breast here. So for that, just go down the middle. Put it on the cutting board now so I don't cut my counter. Like so. And then with this, it's a pretty big, thick piece here. So I'm going to, you can either take it off the bone and debone it or leave it on, but I'm gonna just cut this, not quite in half, because this is such a thick piece. So I just cut it two littler pieces like that. So you can do the same on this, but this has got like more bone here. So I'm just gonna cut the bone off here. And then the same thing, I'm just gonna cut down like that. And there you go. So now, to do this, you're supposed to soak it in buttermilk. So I'm just gonna give my hands here a quick little wash. So I'm gonna add 2 cups. I'm gonna start with 2 cups here. Into every cup of milk, you add a tablespoon of vinegar. And that's where you get your, it'll curdle and do its little thing here. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And I'll give it a little stir. And you can see it already, like it gets all funny looking and stuff. And I'm just gonna pour it over my chicken, like so. There you go. And then you can add seasoning to this too if you want to, Cajun, salt and pepper, whatever you want. And it'll soak in here and you let it soak. I've got this, it's 1 o'clock. So I'll let it soak till about 4 or so. So you can let it soak overnight too, doesn't matter. The longer the better, but there you go, chicken. Bye. Hello, it's me, Barbalicious. Hi. So tonight I'm doing fried chicken. And I'm gonna do up some onion rings because my friend Tanisha put a posting up and they look really, really good. So now I'm craving them, so I'm gonna make some and then we'll do french fries. So I'm gonna start with the onion ring first. So I just got a normal onion. Just gonna cut the butt off, cut the tit off, take off the other stuff. Like so. And then you're going to cut them like about that thick. I usually go like from this distance to this distance on my finger, from here to here. It's about kind of, sort of like from here to your first little notch here. Give or take, you know, a little bit, not quite, but almost. That thick for the onion ring. And then we're gonna do up the batter in here. I just have to go grab my cornmeal. I forgot to grab that. Sorry. Okay, got it. Okay, so it is 1/4 cup of cornmeal. And a lot of these stuff, like if you don't have, you know, you can just keep using flour and stuff too, right? Because not everybody's going to have everything on hand. But 1/4 cup of cornmeal, 2 cups of flour, which I have over here. Again, this is fully woolly. So I'm going to use my half cupper because I won't be able to get the full cupper in there to scoop it out. So that is 1 cup. You know what, I think I'm just going to do it like that because I think that's going to be plenty for what I have to do. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And any more than that's going to be too much and I'm going to waste it. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And then it's asking for garlic, onion, salt in there. So I got my onion. I just used it a little while ago. I know you're here. Onion, garlic, and salt. I'm not prepared. So it's 1/2 teaspoon of each. And I'm just going to wing it because that's what I do. And then it says a can of beer. Now, I don't have any beer. And it says you can just use water. You know, you can just use water too. It's okay. But I'm going to use the sparkling flavored water. I'm going to try that. So it says 1 can of it. But because I didn't add, I only did half the recipe. So I'm just going to add about half of it in. Like so. grab my whiskey whisk and we'll whisk it up because you want it to be sticky. See, right now I've got like a pudding paste, so I need to add more liquid to it. And still getting up like a pudding paste here. I'm gonna ditch the spatula or the whisk and go in with a fork. You might have better success. See, I find this too. Wow, it's a good thing I didn't put in the 2 cups of thing in here with it, because I've used more than a half. Like that's a whole thing of it. Recipe didn't work out very good. It smells good though. Maybe it's supposed to be that thick. I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Too thick for my liking. But I always say follow the recipe first and then modify it, right? And I'm modifying it before I'm even following it. Oh well. So that's that. Maybe I'll add a little bit more flour to it. Add about another 1/4 cup of flour. There we go. That's thickety thick. You can probably add like any seasonings you want in here too, right? I don't know, seasoning salt would have been good too. So, now that I got this thicky licky, then you just take your onion rings, right? You just separate them. And yeah, put them in here. And I'm just gonna put them in here and I'm gonna let them do its little thing. I'll let it coat up here. You've got to be kind of delicate because they'll break very easily like that. Right, so you gotta play with love. Be gentle. Be gentle with them. You're just gonna sit there, get them all coated in, like so. And then I'm gonna put, like I'm just gonna get these in here, and then I'm gonna set them aside and let them soak in here. And then I'm going to do up my mix for my chicken, because my chicken's out too, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm just going to clean up my mess here and get ready to do my chicken. The reason why I did my onions first is because I don't wanna contaminate, because then I'm gonna deep fry my I'm going to do my chicken, deep fry it up right away, and then I'll come back and do these afterwards so that I'll have a clean area. But I wanted these to sit soaking and get them ready so that way they've got time to sit in here and do their thing. So I got that in there. They're going to do their thing. I'm going to clean up and then come back. So I'm back. I got my deep fryer plugged in. It's been plugged in for a little bit. I'm just letting it get to temp, 350. So I'm just letting it do that. And I've got my chicken out. It's been in that beer or that buttermilk thing soaking all afternoon. So now I'm going to do 2 different kinds of judges that I'm going to use to do this. So the first one is a dry, right? So it calls for 3 cups of flour. So I have my 1 cup, half cupper here, right? So that's 1. There's 2. And 3. 3 cups of flour. To that, it's asking for 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of paprika, and a 1/2 teaspoon of poultry. But I'm going to put in a little bit more. I'll probably put in about a tablespoon. And we get a spoon. I'm just gonna stir this up. So this is your dry rub. So this is what you're gonna take from, you're gonna take those, put them into here, and then you're gonna put them into here. Oh, and I'm also gonna add, another little thing I'm gonna try is, I'm gonna put in some cornstarch. I'm gonna do a half a cup of cornstarch in here. Supposedly that's supposed to crisp it up a little bit more. So we'll see. So if you wanted to eliminate a half a cup of flour and substitute it with cornstarch, why not, right? I just didn't think of it until just now. So there we go. That is my dry. Now for this here is 1 cup of flour. It wasn't quite full, so add a little bit more. Get rid of that out of the way. And then it calls for some pepper. A little bit of pepper for seasoning. Now, 2 eggs. I'm gonna add 2 eggs into this too. So this is gonna be kind of like, it'll be like pancake or cake batter, right? Because it'll stick. That's how you get your crispy, crispy, crispy. And then to this, it says to add 1.5 cans of beer. I don't have beer, so I've got this lemon flavored sparkling carbonated water. I'm gonna add that. And then if I have to add anything more, I'm just gonna add water. So, and then I'm gonna take a whisk for this one. I'm gonna whisk it up. So, lots of bubbles in here. I find this really liquidy though. It's not, it's like water. I don't want that. So I'm gonna add some, I know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna take some of the flour from this bowl and add it into this bowl. I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup. Because this you want it to be like a pancake kind of syrup, like thickness, right? Okay, it's getting a little bit thicker now. So I'll add a little bit more, about another 1/4 cup. And there we go. That's a little bit better. So I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes and do its thing. So my oil's still not at temp because I'm waiting for the light to come on to say ready, and it's not. So I'm just gonna clean up all my mess, get everything ready here, and wait for my oil to get to temp. And when my oil gets to temp, I'll come back and show you what we're doing. I'm still waiting for this thing to heat up. It should take a long time. But meanwhile, I am going to make a couple of dipping sauces to go with my fries and my onion rings. So, first off, is I got 2 bowls here, so I'm gonna do different dips. I'm gonna put mayonnaise in the one, mayonnaise in the other one. So, then another spoon to make. So to this one, I'm gonna make kind of like a Thousand Island dressing because I like to dip my onion rings into that. So it's mayonnaise, relish, and a little bit of ketchup. So this is like kind of like your mayonnaise Thousand Island dressing, or it could be like Big Mac sauce too a little bit. So and that's what it looks like when it's all done. Okay. And you dip your onion rings into that. That's one sauce. This one here's got mayonnaise, and I'm gonna do like a dill sauce. My family likes to, Ryan and Randy like to dip their fries into this. So I'm just taking a garlic clove and mince it out. Yeah. And I've also put this on the chicken burger the other night when we did chicken burgers here a little while ago, and I really liked it on there too. So, got that, and then I put a whole bunch of dill. So it's like a dill sauce, so quite a bit. When you think, oh God, that's not enough, or well, that's way too much, keep going. because you want it to taste like dill. And usually with this, I have to, 9 times out of 10, I have to add more dill to this. You can add a bit of Parmesan cheese to it too if you have a little bit on hand. It gives it an extra little oomphy flavor. I don't think I have any on hand, or maybe I do. I have a little bit left in the bottom of my bucket here. So I'll put that in there. This here you don't have to add if you don't want to. It's just an extra little thing. Oh look, my light is on. It's saying that my thing is ready. Yay. So I'm gonna give this another taste. Oh yeah, that's good. So, my deep fryer is done, ready to go. So I'm just gonna move this stuff over here so I can get a batch of my chicken done. And then we'll let it cook. So, and then I'm gonna go grab my thermometer too. So it says that each piece takes about 15 to 18 minutes to cook, which, yeah, okay. I would still use a thermometer to check. So I have to go grab my thermometer. I'm gonna first get this going here. So, you can do bare hands, use tongs, whatever you want, but I always like to try and keep one hand clean when I am gonna do this. So I'm just gonna give this a little mixy here. And I'm gonna try and grab, I'm gonna try and do the breasts first because they're gonna take the longest to cook because they were so big. So I'm just gonna put it in here, drench it in there, get it all colored. Put it in here. And I don't have my basket in here because I just free do it. If you want to use a basket, go for it. I don't. Not when I'm deep frying like this, I don't. So there you go. See how it's all dripping? And you slowly do it, but you do it away from yourself. I just go until it's kind of get it going, and I drop it. I'm going to grab another breast here, do the same thing. Dip it up. You can see it's already so I got my tongs here, just so I can kind of baby it, make sure it gets all underneath the oil. It doesn't get hung up on anything. It's already getting nice and crispy. My thing with this is, I'm going to be honest, is when I do this and I first bite, all the crisp comes off of my first bite. I'm trying to find one that will not do that. And so far, I haven't been able to. So I keep trying different recipes and keep trying different methods and doing different things different ways and stuff to try and find one where I don't lose my crisp off, because that's the idea, is every bite you want to have crisp, right? So I've got these two chicken breasts, and I'm going to put this chicken breast in there. Like so, and I'm going to look for the other chicken breast that is in here, because I know I had 4. There it is. And I'm going to let this cook, so put it in there for about a minute or so. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the clock, so kind of have a rough idea of when to take one out and check it. And I'll take out probably the biggest piece there. You don't want to overcrowd your deep fryer either. You want it so you don't want to have a big pool party. You want to have a nice little pool party because you want them all to cook. You don't want them stacked on top of each other. You want them so they're loosey-goosey. You want it to be so it's not on top of each other, so they can cook in between each piece so they're not stuck together in that. So I'm going to clean up my mess, continue on doing this, and I'll come back. My chicken's been in for about 15 minutes. I got my thermometer here. I've also got a tray here with metal racks, so I'm going to take my chicken and put it out on here, and then I'll let them drip dry and do whatever. So what I'm going to do is, and my chicken, stuff isn't getting really dark because I'm using brand new oil. So it's not really like it's, but look at how big it is. That's huge. So I'm gonna take out this piece here. This is one of the first pieces that I put in. Like, it's farting huge. Like, that is amazing. I'm really happy with how big this is. Like, holy cow. So I'm just gonna take my thermometer, and you want it to read at about 165, the temp. So you put it in. See where it goes. It's at 140. Yeah, it's going to 140. So we're not cooked yet. So stick it back in. So we want it at 165, like I said. So it's been in there for about 15 minutes. So I'll let it go for another 5 minutes. And we'll see what happens. So yeah, what I'll do then is when it gets to 165, I'll take it out, put the next batch in, keep cooking, keep cooking, keep cooking. And then when I go to do my onion rings, then I'll show you what I do for that. This is the chicken breast. I took them out. They're at temp. I sprinkled some seasoning salt on them. But like, look at the size of that. Like, it's the size of my Barton hand, for God's sakes. Like, these are freaking huge. Like, this is the size of a freaking baseball. Like, holy cow, I'm kind of excited a little bit. So I put some more in. I did my chicken legs and my chicken thighs I put in there. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing. I just pick them up so they're not sticking to the bottom. So that's in there, and I've got just a couple more pieces left. I dredged them, and I've just got them on parchment paper waiting to go into the pool. And then I got my onion rings there. And as you can see, I had to wait to get my oil back up to temp again too when you put the next batch in. But there we go, we're cooking away. So all my chicken is out and sitting here, and I've flipped them over and I played with it, and yeah, the crust isn't going to stick to the chicken. It already came off. Not happy, but whatever. We'll see if it tastes good. So now I've got my oils back up to temp. So now I'm going to drop these in, my onion rings. And they're not going to take very long to cook. They're only going to take like a couple seconds. So cook them until they get golden brown, and I've got another rack over here to put them on, and then we'll eat supper.